Hello and welcome to Comic Island. My name is Arden, and today we're reviewing Like Father, Like Daughter, issue number 4. So long-term viewers of the channel know that we are friends with Comic Uno, her channel, and the work she does with Comic Frontline. I've been on their show Media Madness a few times, and Catherine's been nice enough to appear on Comic Island at least once. So she usually has us review her own series Like Father, Like Daughter here and there, to promote her own series. It's a fun little exchange because it's always nice when a creator actually asks us to do these reviews, and I like reading these comics. They're a fun and interesting take on superheroes, really digging into the father-daughter relationship of a superhero pairing while also dealing with issues of abandonment and a father that just wasn't there for his daughter. As she's discovering her new powers and starts to reconcile with her father, which is what issue 4 really kind of digs into, the story starts to unfold and we start to get mysterious glimmers into the origins of this superpowered father that exists in this world quite distinct from Marvel and DC. Superheroes aren't plentiful in this world, and as such, this man is an anomaly, and what he stands for is an anomaly. And it's interesting to kind of dig into the origins of her father's powers. He's a superhero named Invulnerable, so he theoretically is invulnerable. Yet issue 4 deals with the fact that he apparently does have physical weaknesses, as well as a great deal of psychological ones. What I like about this series is it avoids a lot of pratfalls that a story like this typically falls for. It would be very easy to make Invulnerable a character that lacks any value whatsoever. It's easy to paint abusive parents as pure villains. After all, they do these horrible things. And make no mistake, abandoning your child at a young age without really giving them any explanation or being there for them whatsoever is a form of abuse, even if it's not quite as violent and tumultuous as an example of physical abuse or sexual abuse. It still can be horrifying and can lead to a lot of problems with the children. Casey's a good character too. She's flawed and has to deal with this abuse, but she's a well-rounded character with a lot of appeal as a superhero in training of sorts, and I quite enjoy her character, her and her friends, all of which is on a nice display in issue number 4. There's a lot of dialogue here and a lot of reconciliation that happens too, which is another important thing that this issue does really well. It isn't dragging out the conflict in a way comparable to, say, the Image series Invincible. And I like Invincible a lot, but this comic would do itself an incredible disservice if it were just a carbon copy of that series. It's not. It's going in its own direction and it's charging forward. These first 4 issues are a nice introduction to this new series, and the reason we're being asked to do this review right now is they currently launched a Kickstarter, as of yesterday in this recording actually, and they're raising money in order to publish a trade of these first 4 issues. If you're interested and would like a copy of the trade yourself, you can check out that Kickstarter page in the video description below. Now, we're being super transparent about all of this. Obviously, I was asked to do all of this for promotional reasons. It's not like we're hiding that in any way, but I wasn't given anything in order to make this review or anything like that. The only thing I was given was a copy of these comics so that I could review them. That's it. There's no other exchange of goods or services or anything like that. And I say that just because I want to be as transparent as possible. This is a good example of what any critical reviewer should do, and something that the video game review community does well in being more honest about going forward, about whether or not they've been given review copies or anything like that, because it could theoretically bias our responses. But it's been pretty clear before, even when I've had reason to say that I like a comic series, i.e. we're close with the creators from a professional sense, or if there was some sort of reason on the table for me to have an implicit bias towards the comic, I've usually been pretty honest about when I don't like something, and I probably would here, even if, maybe I'd find a way to say it politely. I really like the art styling of this comic now that I've gotten used to it, and enjoy the work of Wayne Brown with his pencils and inks, and the color work by David Aravena. Overall, it's a really fun comic and totally worth your time, so if you're interested, check out the Kickstarter in the video description below. I believe it's not too hard to get a look at some of the other issues as well if you're not quite sure yet, and I'm sure it would go a long way to help them continue this series if you bought any issue. So if you're curious about getting issue 1, I'll be sure to include the link to their website or something like that where you can find that as well before you invest fully in the trade. But nevertheless, if you like series like Invincible, if you enjoy Marvel DC comics, I think you'll enjoy this, and you'll be helping an independent comic book team, which is always a good thing to do. So thanks for watching. If you like Comic Island, be sure to check out our Patreon page in the video description. And finally, don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep reading comics.